right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you here. Welcome to Thursday morning, episode 1600 and who knows? It's a big number. All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There we go. So my question for you today is what sneaks through your cracked vision? Follow me on this. Good morning. I'm New York. Nick, good to see you, brother, on Instagram. And some new folks here on the VIP section. My name is Sean Murphy. I'm your host, your misfit, and your conversationalist here this morning. A little bit about me. I've stood on stages in 30 plus countries, been translated into over 40 different languages. I've probably helped companies over the last 20 years create, which isn't a lot of money, if you break it up over 20 years, about $2 billion in additional sales. And I did that through storytelling and teaching people how to move people from their center, not from their back, right? Who likes to be shoved, pushed, and just moved around, shoved around? Well, that's not a good thing. So today I wanted to talk to you about how we move you from your center, from your inside. And that conversation, it's kind of tough. It's tough because it's not strategy. Tony Robbins talks about strategy as the tyranny of how. How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? The most used word on Google. Anybody want to guess? Anybody want to guess? The most used word on Google. How do I do this? See, we're stuck in strategy. We're stuck in this idea of how do I get to going? Well, the question that we use in psychology, and now I'm not a psychologist, although I've been known to eat lunch with some of them. And play one on TV. My challenge is, my conversation is that the idea of building success, with this conversation, I wonder if it, hang on just a second. Let me look here. Somebody said my mic is, no, it says B4. We'll turn that up a little bit more there. And I'll pull this one in just in case. We'll have stereo now. So the conversation is about what is a cracked vision? We all seem to have this vision of going forward, this vision of wanting to move forward, this vision of taking control of what it is that we want in life. Well, the question then becomes, what happens when we want to move forward? Things seem to leak in. How many of us have ever heard about when you go to sleep, you should have a room that's completely blacked out, right? We've heard that before. For some reason, it doesn't seem, I'm not sure where this is picking up on my mic. Hang on just a second, ladies and gentlemen. We're having a little, seems might possibly be a little tech issue. Maybe not. No, it says there. But anyways, I'm not seeing it show up on this other device, but y'all can hear me okay? Sounds good. Okay, well, we'll just keep going from here. So the conversation I wanted to have with you is about when you have your vision, when you have your clarity, when you start to see things. If you've ever been in that blackout room, is the light on your alarm clock, if you have an alarm clock, right, or your Alexa device, if you're a light on that alarm clock, it's not that bright during the day. Sometimes, have you ever had to squint and kind of cover it up during the day? Well, what happens at night at 2 o'clock in the morning when you wake up and you roll over and all of a sudden that clock's staring at you? Isn't it as bright as bejeebies? It's a distraction. They say it's possible that light is enough to disrupt your sleep. So if a light on the alarm clock is enough to disrupt your sleep, when you have your vision and you are going, right, what do they say? Laser-like vision, have laser vision. What happens when there's a crack in that laser? Doesn't it fracture? Doesn't it go through the spectrum, the prism, and all of a sudden break up into a variety of different things and you lose your focus? Cal Newport in his book, Deep Work, talks about we do a lot of shallow work. And in this shallow work, we have a lot of distractions. If any of you have ever been a scuba diver, If any of you have ever been a scuba diver and you go down and you jump off the boat and you're in the water, and if maybe it's a little choppy that day, you're flopping around at the surface. What's the first thing they say? Get under the water. Get under the water. Now, depending upon where you're at in the water, your vision gets a lot clearer because all of a sudden there's not that chop in the day. But if you're close to shore and there's some waves, you'll still feel the waves. You got to go deeper to get out of the waves, to get out of that undulation, to get out of that disruption. Some of you, including myself, listen, I'm the poster child for all this stuff I teach. Some of you are doing a lot of shallow work and thinking, man, I don't know why I'm not getting any traction. I don't know why I'm not getting any traction. It's because there's no weight to your focus. Does that make sense? Think about that for just a second. There's no weight to your focus. There's no depth to it. Well, Sean, I'm doing all of the things. I make 22 posts a day and I do 3 videos a day and I reach out to 15 people a day and my business isn't growing. Question for you. Question for you. Do you ever hear that joke about the guy who goes to the doctor and says, hey, doc, this hurts and this hurts and that hurts and this hurts and that? He goes, you got 2 broken fingers. If you're doing all of the stuff and it's not working, you may want to go to your nearest mirror and say, maybe you are the issue. So how do we mend our cracked vision? A lot of times we'll put tape on it. We'll put tape on our vision. We'll put the proverbial tape, which is buy a new book, buy a new course, listen to a new mentor, go to a different challenge. Listen, I do challenges. Why would I tell you to not go to challenges? What I'm telling you to is to pick a horse. My father-in-law would say, you can't ride 2 horses with one ass. Some of you have a deep desire to succeed. Some of you have a deep desire, a want, a wish, a desire, a calling. You have a calling. And in Joseph Campbell's conversation of 1,000 faces, the hero of 1,000 faces, he talks about the hero's journey. And the first thing is answering the call. And your vision gets very clear when you answer the call. Big decisions are made at big events, and everything is an event. Everything is an event. Big decisions are made at big events, and everything you do is a big event. Listen, somebody disappointing you for the last time, drop an LT in the chat if somebody's disappointed you for the last time. And you made a decision. This is it. I'm done. This is the last time. I'm done. I'm over it. Never again. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So, and it wasn't really a big thing. In the scheme of things, in the life of things, in your life, it probably didn't even rank in the top 10 things. Does that make sense? But as it related to that bucket called that person, you said that's the last time you'll ever do that. Why did it take such a small thing, comparatively, to become such a big thing? Because you stacked it. You stacked it. And that's the challenge with your vision. Your vision keeps getting stacked and covered up by new things that you think you should do, new things you think you could do, new things you think that you haven't done before. The challenge is that you're trying to do the same thing in a different way, still producing the same result. Drop an R in the chat if you know somebody. I'm not going to call you out. Drop an R in the chat if you know somebody who's gotten results, same results, even though they did something different. But was it really different? Wallace D. Waddle says, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made that permeates and penetrates and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought in that substance produces the thing held by the thought. So if the results are the same, Good morning, all of you super souls in Puerto Rico. Good to see you this morning. If the results are the same, the thought, the underlying thought, the subconscious thought, the belief, the intention is the same. Listen, you could tell me you're going to go make banana bread, but if I eat it and it tastes like a chocolate chip cookie, it's a chocolate chip cookie. But I swear I use the directions for banana bread. Those are funny directions for banana bread. It sure tastes like a chocolate chip cookie. If the results are the same, you didn't change the formula. And what didn't you change? Here's the thing. You didn't change your cracked vision. You want to fix your vision? You want to repair your vision? The only way you can repair vision and get your vision clear again is state. It's the energy with which you operate. Waddle said it's not about doing certain things, right? I wrote down my mission. I did my gratitude. I did all of these things. Why am I struggling? It's not about doing certain things. It's about doing things in a certain way. I'll prove it. I'll prove it to you right now. And you can, and don't lie to yourself, because I'm not going to check up on you. I can't check up on you. I'm going to ask you to do something here in the next 5 seconds that'll change, that'll make you aware of everything. If you were going to sit as the person who's arrived at the goal that you have set for you, what would be different? Would you be in the same spot? Would you be in the same part of the house? Would you be in the same house? Would you be in the same city? Would you be in the same state? Would you be sitting the same way? If the person if you've arrived right now, let's say we're going to wave the magic wand. I've got my big magic marker here and the magic wand. Woof. You're now at the level of income that you desire. You're at the level of, your group is at the level you've decided it to be. You're in the house that you've dreamed you wanted. You're getting ready to go get into the car that you've dreamed you wanted, or head to the private airport to get on the plane you wanted. Would you be sitting in a different energy? You're still doing the same thing. You'd be on the call with me because we're all going to elevate at certain levels. And if my dialogue has helped you, you're probably still here. My question is that if you've arrived at the level that you wanted to arrive at and you wanted to continue to grow, would you be sitting in the same energy? The same energy that you're sitting in this morning. The wanting, the wishing, the I'm broke and I don't have enough money and the this, all of that, that. Would you be sitting in the same energies? Drop a 1 for yes or a 2 for no. 1, you'd be in the exact same energy when your dreams arrive. 2 is no, I'd probably be in a different energy. Here's the reality. Here's the hard part. You ready for the hard part? The only reason that everything you want is not showing up yet is simply because of that. It's a cracked vision. You're allowing old stories. See, the idea of faith is the ability to see things that aren't there. The definition of discipline is the ability to continue to take action long after the emotion of the decision you made leaves. I'm gonna work out every day. Okay, 2 days, 3 days, and funny how that, right? So my question to you is, when is it time for you to find your purpose? When is it time for you to establish the state that will allow the story that will immediately unfold the strategy? See, your $10,000 a month or $100,000 a month is as close as your skin. How do I know this? God's got a sense of humor, but I don't think she's mean. I don't think she's mean. And if God has a sense of humor, what do they say? You can't. Napoleon Hill said, if you can think about it and think about it, you can bring it about. God's not the universal source, the energy, I call it God. God wouldn't give you the ability to think of an idea and then say, sorry, child, you can't do that. That's like a big meanie older brother, older sister. Oh, would you like some ice cream? Sorry, we're out. Anybody ever have that happen? Anybody ever have a sibling or somebody like that go, would you like some ice cream? Yes, ice cream. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're out. Drop an O in the chat if you've ever had that happen. So here's the thing. How do we change this? You have to go on a journey. Joseph Campbell talks about the hero's journey. I'm talking about your purpose-driven payday. This journey that you need to go on, this payday that you're looking for. And the payday doesn't always have to be money, right? I have one of my divisions called mental profits. Mental profits. Your thoughts create your income. How's your balance statement? When I say your thoughts create your income, that one little wave out there is just driving me crazy. That ego, right? Look at me. I'm so hot. I can't have one little sprig of gray hair out of place. So if it's about state that drives the story, that reveals the strategy. Joseph Dispenza says, matter can't change energy. You can't change matter with matter. You can't change a hammer. You take a car and a sledgehammer and you beat that car for days with a sledgehammer. It's still a car. You haven't changed it. You've changed it from an inoperable car, but it is still a car. It is still metal. You didn't turn it into gold. You didn't turn it into an aluminum ingot. It's still aluminum and plastic and copper and electrical wires. Matter doesn't change matter. And some of you think this doesn't matter, which is why you'll continue to be stuck. Not me. Listen, these aren't my rules. If you've read Think and Grow Rich, first rule, desire. Fourth chapter, auto-suggestion. Do you know why you're stuck? Your repeat button is stuck on I'm struggling. I'm not as good as they are. I'm not this. And we can get into the whole dialogue conversation that talks about the I am statement and why that's a better than not saying anything statement. But the challenge with an I am statement is that it's in your root chakra. I am. It's all about security. And some of you are safe. Some of you are safe. Some of you call your safeness the pain zone that you're in. You call it. You've been conditioned to call it your comfort zone. I got to get out of my comfort zone. You're not in a comfort zone. That's called delusional thinking. It's why I teach mental toughness. That is delusional thinking, to say, I'm in my comfort zone. I got to get out of my comfort zone. You should get out of your comfort zone. What are you doing in your comfort zone? You want to get out of your comfort zone? Join me. You should get out of your comfort zone. You're not in a comfort zone. Let's call it what it is. It is a pain zone you want to leave, but you're too comfortable in it. Drop a 1 in the chat if you knew that would make sense to somebody you know. So here's the reality. How do we change this? We have to be working on our purpose every day. It's exhausting until, Jim Rohn's favorite word, until. It's exhausting. Why? Because you have to give up your old story. Well, I don't want to give up my old story. Well, then let me know how that works out for you. You don't have to give it up. You just have to stop watering it. What's the easiest thing that grows in the garden? Is it the plants or the weeds? Well, you got to water the plants. You got to water your ideas, right? Jim Rohn's the birds and the seeds. Sometimes the birds will get some when you throw out your seeds. I did a challenge just not too long ago called the Secret Sauce Challenge. And I wrapped it up by saying there's three kinds of individuals. There's the seed sowers, so there's the trailblazers, and there's the visionaries. Some of you are wanting to be visionaries and you haven't sowed any seeds. And the 6 seeds that you did sow landed on rocky soil, and they started to show up and they started to grow, and they go, and you went, look at my crop. It's 6 seeds that are growing. Look at my crop. And then because it's on rocky soil, the roots didn't have any place to go and they died. And you're like, I don't know why this business sucks. I'm in the people business and I had 6 people. I'm sorry, excuse me. See, if you went to farmer's school and you were going to plant a crop for a harvest, they'd give you the idea. Maybe it would be a good idea to plant more than 6 seeds. So how do we change this? Well, I'm doing a challenge this afternoon, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 10 to 12:30, on developing your purpose-driven payday. Some of you are being driven around by your old story and you're winding up in places you don't like, and you're like, how did I get here? It's your old story. You were being driven. You didn't have the drive. You were being driven around. Now when your purpose is the thing that drives you, everybody else is out of the car. And you wind up at places you don't know. How many of you have ever traveled? Well, thank you for that. I can just see, is it Warrior Spirit 16? Thank you. Big hugs to you. Listen, recognition like that, you gotta acknowledge. I appreciate you. So if you've ever driven someplace, how many of you have ever driven someplace and you're not sure GPS is even taking you the right way? I don't know if this is right. Is this right? This can't be right. Is this right? And then all of a sudden it says, you've arrived. Some of you haven't dialed in your GPS. I call GPS give permission to self. Napoleon Hill calls it the definite major purpose. The definite, yeah, some of you might be running your GPS off of CDs. Who's old enough to remember cars that you would put in the CD based upon the area you were going to? So I'm going to wrap this up. And here's what I want to do. I want to invite you to the challenge today called Purpose-Driven Payday. It's a 12-step process. We're going to go over it in 2 days. It's a 12-step process, from awakening and getting immediately into action to crafting your vision. And when you craft your vision, what's the biggest challenge with crafting your vision? What other people are going to say. First thing I ask people is as you arrive at your destination, who's going to be jealous? And 100%, let me think. It's 100% of the time. The first response from most people is, well, I can't think of anybody. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the first clue. When you understand that there's people out there who say things, has anybody ever said to you, have you lost your mind? Those are the same people, or there's the same version of people that as you get older, will be jealous of you. They don't want you to leave. They don't have this new vision of you in their mind, so they can't find you in their mind. And they ask you, have you lost your mind? Because I've lost you in mine. The way you solidify and lock down your vision is to have your definite major purpose, is to deal with the addiction to approval. And then all of a sudden this addiction to approval is you start to create fears. And how do you overcome the fears? The false evidence appearing real is you have to deal with self-talk. Well, now I'm doing my self-talk and I'm starting to do things I've never done. You now have to build a resistance to going back. It's kind of like anybody who's ever been on drugs. I can handle my drugs. That's not a problem for me. They haven't built a resistance. They haven't built a resistance to staying sober, to staying clean. Can I let you in on a little secret? Social media is not going to allow you the ability to stay clean. to stay focused, because it will do everything it can through its own algorithms and what you click on. How many of you know that you searched for a camping light? You searched for a camping light, and all of a sudden you're now on Instagram. And how the heck does it know to run a camping light ad? What the heck is going on here? In your Gmail, in the sidebar, it shows camping lights on sale now at Toomey or whatever the heck, right? So I'd encourage you, I'd offer you the opportunity to come join me on this purpose-driven payday. And if you can't be there, your day may already be packed and jammed full of all of your income-producing activities. You can get the upgrade. It's $57 to go store the inventory of the videos. Listen, if you've heard some things in the last 20 minutes of what I do, and I do what I do pretty well, I'm the best in the world at what I do, then you may want to get the recordings. If I brought you value in the last 20 minutes, could you imagine 5 hours of value? Not to mention a VIP conversation that'll happen tonight. But I'll leave that with you. You can go to SeanGMurphy.com/PDP, SeanGMurphy.com/PDP. And I'll see you where? I'll see you at the next event. For all of you in Puerto Rico, safe travels back home. Give the island a kiss for me. I lived there for 7 years in Terrado del Mar. Have a medalla for me. And if you're okay with eating a pincho, have a pincho and a medalla. And I love it. I appreciate you. I'm your head brain training, brain scrambling, purpose-driven driving misfit. I'll see y'all where? I'll see you at the next event. Love you tons. Bye for now. And YouTube, I appreciate you so very much. Good morning, Beamish. What are you doing, baby? Good morning, Beamish. Good morning. The puppy's like that. And YouTube, I appreciate you. I'll see you where? I'll see you at the next event. Till then, bye for now. I'm going to go have a conversation with the VIP group and do some Q&A.